We are in Manipur right now, and after days of violence between two communities that are dominant in the state of Manipur, the Kuki community and the Meitei community, the tensions are still at an all-time high. But there is a peace prevailing now, and we can get you a glimpse of the violence that was unleashed as soon as the violence started. So we are at a very unique place. On my right-hand side, the houses that you see, that is predominantly the Meitei community, and on my left-hand side, on this side of the road, there is the Kuki community. There were clashes between both of these communities, and if I can show you that log of tree that's lying on the side of the road, that was used to make a blockade on the road to stop the army and other forces from doing an evacuation. But let's go and show you the glimpse of the violence that was unleashed here in this particular region, and still the fires are not completely put out. You can see these were the houses of some of the people from the Kuki community, and these were completely burned. Similar kind of situations are prevailing in regions where there are Meitei community people in minority and Kuki people are in majority. The army has been conducting flag marches and has been asking for peace to prevail, but it seems that it will take a long time for Manipur to reach normalcy back. The evacuation by the Indian Armed Forces are going on. The Indian Army right now is evacuating these set of people who have been stranded here for the past few days. The situation remains tense in Manipur, entire state, and especially when we talk about the Imphal region and the region surrounding Imphal, the tensions are still high. There is arson happening, there is loot happening, and there is ethnic violence happening between different communities. And the Indian Army is right now trying its level best to evacuate people in time and to provide relief to these people. We'll try and speak to these people and try to understand that what exactly have they been facing for the past few days. I just want to speak to you थोड़ा सा कि क्या-क्या problems आ रही थी आप लोगों को?
There are lots of problems here. So lots of people, children, there are lots of problems we face here.
Okay.
But
is there shortage of food, etc.?
All affected.
All affected.
Yeah.
So how long have you been living here?
Living here since my childhood.
Since your childhood.
Have
you ever seen something like this in your past?
No, this is the first. I've seen the Naga cookie class earlier when I was a kid. This second time, and there's no guarantee that such things will never repeat in Manipur again. The state is like, I don't know what to say.
What's your name?
My name is Daniel.
We are holding our back or tears.
So this is what these people have to say. The other community have to make their own different claims, and this is the situation. It remains tense, and you can see the army right now trying to evacuate people as soon as possible from these regions. But this is not just the only region. There are several of these regions where tensions are at an all-time high, and everyone is hoping for situations to become normal. Once the evacuations are being done by the Indian Army, another step that follows that evacuation is a flag march. Now, people will question that what exactly is a flag march and why is it required? So once a community is evacuated from a tense location, it becomes paramount for the armed forces to ensure that there is no tension in that region. There is no further clash in the region. As you can see here, you can see there are some objects that have been burned. Arson took place here. Tires were burned to stop the evacuation initially when the tensions were going on. From these hilly regions, from these bushes and the jungle part of the side of this area, there were some arsons who reached here and who burned the houses as well as property of other community people. But that is happening everywhere in Manipur, and that is the big question, that how the armed forces are going to control that, stop that from happening, how confidence building measures are to be put in place. But here, immediately after the evacuations, you can see these kind of flag marches. Armed soldiers, officers are conducting their flag marches to ensure that after the evacuation is done, no more tension or no more violence ensues, and people who have been evacuated, their properties remain safe. So in a confidence building measure, these kind of flag marches with the Indian Army soldiers are being conducted all over Manipur, and this is to ensure the lasting peace continues. And this is why this is a regular process. Once the evacuation is done, this is a regular process of patrolling. And I would like to show you the convoy of the Indian Army that is coming from that side. With hooters, with speakers, where the army is appealing to the people that people should remain at home. They should not come out in the open, especially as a curfew is in place. People should remain vigilant as well. We are right now outside the Manipur airport, and days after violence erupted, now another phenomenon is taking place. Exodus is happening in Manipur from different parts of the state, especially in Imphal. The only route to get out of the state is the airport, is via flights, because the trains are not functional. People are not confident that they can, in fact, take the roads. They cannot drive, and that is why flights for several days out of Manipur are booked. The students are getting out. As you can see, there is a huge convoy of the Indian Army that has, in fact, brought students from the RIMS, the RIMS in Manipur, Imphal, and all of the students here packed in these army trucks have been brought to the airport. These students are from different parts of the country, and especially from different parts of northeast, and they are trying to escape from the violence hit state. But the problem also at the airport is that so many people have taken refuge inside the airport that the airports are packed, and that is why the army has to actually wait here before they can actually all enter inside the airports, because there is no space inside the airport as well to accommodate more people. These are all the students. They have been safely brought here by the Indian Army, and that exactly is the reason why they have been brought in the trucks, because Army has been providing them safety to travel from inside Manipur, from inside Imphal till here at the Imphal airport. We'll try and speak to some of the students here and try to understand that what exactly are their concerns, and try to see that whether they will be going back to their homes, and for how long will they be going out of Imphal. Excuse me, I'm from India today. I just want to understand, where exactly are you from?
I'm from Meghalaya.
You're from Meghalaya.
Yeah.
So how was the situation for the past few days for the students especially? Were you scared, all of you?
Yeah, we were scared, and outside too, we don't know, since we stayed inside the hostel only.
Right.
Yeah, and now since we are being evacuated, so we are very thankful to the government of Meghalaya. Yeah,
Government
that's
of
it.
Meghalaya
Yeah.
and the Indian Army that has transported
Yeah,
you
yeah.
here. So are you thankful for that?
Yeah,
as
yeah,
well?
sure.
And when will you be coming back? You're a student of RIMS, I think.
Yeah, yeah,
from
yeah.
your identity card.
As of now, we have no idea of returning here.
You have no
Yeah,
idea
yeah.
that when will you return. What is your
Yeah.
name?
Suraj Kumar.
Suraj Kumar.
Yeah.
How long will you be gone as far as your home goes?
We can't say for now. As long as the situation's like this, we won't be coming back. But once the situation settles down, then yeah, we'll come back ASAP.
Are your other friends also leaving Manipur?
Yeah. Other states, they're all leaving as well.
So this is the situation. They are all thankful to the government as well as the Indian Army that has transported all the students here. But still, uncertainty looms over large, and exodus in large numbers happening across the state of Manipur, given the fact that violence is unprecedented in this state. We are right now in Churchandpur in Manipur, and right now we are in a camp of the Kuki community people who have been displaced from their homes after the violence. We'll try and speak to these people who have taken refuge in these evacuation camps and try to understand that what exactly happened and why exactly are they here after what they have seen.
Meiteis का लोग मुझे कहाँ होता है
घर वगैरह जला दिए उन्होंने, क्या किया उनके साथ?
lấy nó càng môi rồi để
cái nó cho càng sắm rồi nên mi là vào mà hoता है कब
क्या बोले?
वहाँ पे वो मेटी वहाँ पे आ गया, इसलिए हम लोग भाग के आ गया। हाँ, भाग के आ गया।
घर वगैरह ठीक है आपका, सलामत है सब ठीक?
lấy nó tụi nó phá nai rồi để bằng ngati।
तू ही ना फनाए का इन चुप तू नुंग लगा है
अभी तक तो फिलहाल ठीक है, लेकिन हम लोग वहाँ पे जा नहीं पा रहे हैं।
जा नहीं पा रहे। आपके साथ क्या हुआ था? घर में और कौन कौन लोग हैं?
lấy nó của में
Tu là tu mà cô mà talo mi ngam lo jam ka chu lam.
अभी कोई नहीं है घर पे,
कोई नहीं है।
क्योंकि उसका घर टोटली जल गया।
सब कुछ जला दिया, सब कुछ नहीं छोड़ा लोगों ने।
अब वो ना काम तुम है वैसे।
Abo na kang tu matai pathum.
और क्या क्या सामान आप लेकर आ पाए यहाँ पर? क्या क्या वैल्यूएबल चीज़ें लेकर आ पाए?
बंग बंग लोग को माने
Ma polo ye ka ki van hi ma po man lo.
कुछ भी नहीं, सिर्फ ये जितना ड्रेस
बस इतना ही है।
ke ki zo ta ka chi ka pasal ni ko tha kilo ka cha te le lo lo kun ni ka la su na kang tum ni ta ka tun le na the di ta lo la
3 तारीख में रैली हुआ था, पीस रैली। तो मैं रैली के लिए गया और मेरा पति जो है वो काम में गया था, लेकिन हम लोग जब वापस आए तो पूरा टोटली बर्न डाउन हो गया था।
Similar are the stories from each and every evacuation, each and every relief camp where people have been displaced, people have lost all of their belongings, all of their lives worth of savings, and this has happened because of the mindless violence that started in the state on 3rd of May, and still there is no sign of a permanent peace that can return. Be it the Kuki side of the community or the other communities, everyone is hoping for peace to prevail as soon as possible. The proof of those violence, the evidence of that violence has started to emerge, that you can see now. These cars have been burned by miscreants, by vandalizers who are here. And now, to safeguard properties, to safeguard lives, people have started to use unique identification marks on their homes, on their properties, and especially by identifying with the majority communities. This is happening everywhere. Wherever there is a majority community, they are trying to identify themselves with the majority so that their properties are not harmed, because the rioters are not discriminating once they start with the violence. For example, this shop here has not been vandalized because it seems that there have been some identification marks with a particular community that have been pasted here. We're right now at the epicenter of the violence that erupted in the state of Manipur. We are right now in Churchandpur. This is a district that perhaps has seen the most incidents of violence ever since the violence erupted in the state. And all of this stuff that you see right now is still burning. The fires, be it the property, be it homes, have not yet been put out. There are still mobs roaming around on the streets. To protect properties, people have resorted to using identification marks similar to what we have seen in Imphal as well. You can see it says Ami Dor or tribal store. Ami Dor translates loosely into our store, our property, and this is not just here outside this one store. If you see on all of the stores on these roads, all of the stores on these roads, similar kind of identification marks are here. Similar kind of identification marks have been made on all the shops to prevent the shops from being burned, to prevent the shops from being vandalized. We are right now at the Thorbung village in the Vishnupur district, that is between the Imphal and the Churchandpur district. As you can see, the kind of destruction that violence has left behind in these areas. This is not just one village, several of such villages have completely been destroyed. This may have been vehicle of some person that has been destroyed. It was completely burned down. Villages, shops, houses completely burned down, and this is the situation not just here in this particular area. This kind of situation is in several such parts of Manipur. But as we talk about this particular area, you can see the trail of destruction that the violence has left behind. The rally that started on 3rd of May, it became later. After that rally, there was violence that started. There were houses of both the communities, the Kuki communities as well as the Meiteis community in this house, in this area. And as you can see, the miscreants have not left any single house standing without being burnt or being destroyed. We are present at the camp of Assam Rifles in Imphal, and the process for rehabilitation and relief work to provide a safe passage to these people have started. The troops of Assam Rifles are already lining up the people who have to be rescued and have to be provided a safe passage. These are tribals who are stranded in Imphal. They will be taken to tribal areas, and they all are here waiting with their belongings to board. The trucks and the patients that were injured during the violence have also been lined up and loaded into the ambulances. Soon the convoys will start from here, and all of these people will be provided a safe passage by the Assam Rifles so that they can safely reach to their respective homes in their respective areas. It's not just the humans but also the pets who are being rescued by the forces that are deployed here. After days of violence, it's finally a moment of respite for these people. We'll try and speak to some of them. Sir, hi. I just want to understand one thing. Finally, you are going home. It's been about a week that you were here,
Yes,
and
sir.
in different camps. How are you
Yes, sir.
feeling now? I mean,
Now
what is the feeling like?
we feel very happy, and we are also very thankful to the army officer who has rescued all of us. Otherwise, it would be a very
Your children are also here?
yeah, my children. And
Okay. मैम ह्यूमंस तो है ही, बट डॉग को भी रेस्क्यू, आपका ये पेट है, पेट बच्चों की तरह होता है. हाउ आर यू फीलिंग राइट नाउ? यू आर गोइंग टू अ सेफ प्लेस, द आर्मी हैज हेल्प्ड यू. हाउ आर यू फीलिंग?
happy
आर यू फीलिंग हैप्पी? From my getup, you can understand that, or you can figure it out that I'm wearing the vest of the Indian Army. In fact, I'm traveling with the Indian Army right now, and I will tell you all about the evacuation, the safe creation of safe passages, and how the Indian Army, along with other troops, are contributing in rescue and relief works. Ever since the clashes broke out between the two communities, the Indian Army was roped in the initial days because the law and order situation was deteriorating, and the Indian Army was called in to restore that law and order. But it was not just securing the city, securing the places. The Indian Army has now expanded into much larger roles as far as the entire procedure is concerned. Because right now what we are doing is an operation of how a safe passage is created for people from one spot to another spot. In fact, I'll give you the entire brief of how this operation started. We are doing a rescue, or rather a rehabilitation and a relief operation for the tribal community, and similar kind of operations are being done by the Indian Army for the Meitei community as well. The clashes started, to give you just a brief background of the clashes, it started because of a High Court order that the Meitei community should be given the ST status, but the tribal communities, the traditional tribal communities, including the Kuki communities, the Naga communities, they were opposed to the fact that Meiteis will be given the tribal status, because when we talk about the demography of the state, about 53% population is Meitei, but they usually reside in about 10% of the land. The tribal population, somewhere around 45%, 44 to 45%, they reside in 90% of the land, that is in the hills, and that is the ruckus all about, because once there is ST status to the Meitei population, they can also buy land in the hills. So that was not acceptable by the tribal populations of the state, and that is why the clashes started. Once the clashes started, there was violence. Initially there was a peace rally, but that peace rally turned into a bit violent rally. Then there were clashes between the two communities. It erupted to a larger scale, and almost all the Kuki people who were living in Imphal have now moved out to the tribal regions, tribal areas of the state, and similarly the Meitei population that was living in the tribal areas have now shifted to the valley. After the situation worsened, the army was called in. Army is doing all sort of work, and right now, as you can see, this work is kind of a safe passage creation. In fact, the troops that we are traveling with are of 20 jar. There you can see this kind of formation is done usually once the vehicles are stopped to provide a perimeter for the people who are being transported. The buses and the ambulances are carrying the injured people, and these are being protected by these troops. As you can see, all of these troops have now started to get off. They will be creating a perimeter, and this will continue till the time they reach to a desired place. That is where we are going right now, and in this instance we are going to Churachandpur, where these people will be transported from here to Churachandpur. Similarly, the Meitei population have also been brought in by the Indian Army, and they have been brought in here. So this is the kind of operation. Safe passage is being provided to all the communities. Indian Army has deployed the light machine guns on these trucks. QRT teams have been formed, that is quick reaction team, and this QRT is made for a sole purpose. It is mounted here for a sole purpose, that if there is any kind of disturbance, any kind of problem, then the QRT becomes the first shield to protect all of the rest of the convoy. As you can see behind us, following is the convoy of the Indian Army, and these kind of operations are carried out almost all day, every day, 24/7. Several round trips are being made by the Indian Army to provide safe passage to everyone who needs it, as well as to maintain law and order. And this kind of operation will continue. The valor and the bravery of our Indian Army jawans and soldiers and officers will continue till the time law and order is restored in the state, as well as all the people are provided a safe passage that they are looking for. In Manipur, I'm Akshay Dongre for India Today.